Hey, wonderful world of podcast listeners. Welcome to Balance Life Mastery, the podcast where we talk about all things business, burnout, and barbells.
So we're your hosts, Dina and Jeremy. You can probably guess which one's which. And we're burnout recoveries. We left the corporate world after doing about 20 years each, working for some really big Fortune 500 companies across media, marketing, and IT. But to give a proper introduction, as this is our first ever podcast, I'm Jeremy. So I based in the UK and have 2 kids and a wonderful wife that support me on this journey that we're going on. And I like I said, I spent 20 years working in IT, progressing from really just getting an interest in IT to working for a small industry and then going through to a large biotech that turned over more than $30 billion. And looking back, my whole career was about high performance, and it was about how to get to the next level, how to do things faster, how to have a greater impact. But at the same time, I ended up sort of so singly focused that everything else got pushed to the side. And I ended up reaching points where I was so focused on that next step that I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't eating well, so I put on a load of weight. I ended up burnt out. I ended up sort of riddled with anxiety and knowing I needed to change. And what we're going to talk about through this is some of those journeys. So a little bit about me. I'm sure you'll learn some more over the coming episodes. So I will chuck it over to Dina.
Thanks, Jeremy. And similar story over here. So 20 years in the corporate world in media, marketing, advertising. And I found myself chasing this hamster wheel or this career ladder that led me to one day on a Saturday morning, my son finding me flat on the floor with a heart attack in my 30s. So that was kind of my encounter with burnout, and it was at that point where I decided things needed to change. I knew that I wanted to continue this life of ambition and growth and everything else, but I also knew that I had to take care of myself a lot more and give my body and my mind and physically and mentally the respect that it needed, because what I was doing was definitely not sustainable. So yeah, essentially, lots of changes happened over the last couple of years, and here we are.
So, if you read the title, you've read the description, you're probably intrigued about why barbells, why are you sort of hearing this? And this podcast is all about a balanced life, and that's high performance, that's balance. But we're both avid CrossFitters. Dina has a bit of tenure on me and a lot more ability. We're both masters and maybe CrossFit fans as well. So we want to make sure that there is that balance. It's real people, real lives, and making that impact. But after our encounter with burnout, we both kind of changed our lives. We brought them around. We pivoted our journeys to really work on being performance coaches, and that's where our paths have crossed.
And yeah, I mean, I think we're probably the 2 most passionate people you'll ever come across when it comes to talking about high performance and balance, because when our journey started, we it's like I said, we knew we never wanted to give up that path of kind of continuous growth and achievement and chasing goals and growing, but we also knew we had to become smarter at it. So we wanted to become the best versions of ourselves, achieve the best we possibly could, but also be in the best state mentally and physically. So if you like the sound of creating a balanced life for yourself and performing at your very best, but also feeling that ease and the happiness of well-being and not being on this constant chase and the hamster wheel, then join us on this journey and subscribe to our weekly episodes and tell your friends to join too.
All right, like all high performers, we wrote a script for this. We prepared. We didn't actually rehearse, so that's probably a bad thing. But I want to break the script slightly and actually go back, because I think Dina made an incredible statement that always gets sort of lost. And that was around kind of her aha moment about kind of being discovered on the floor by her son, and it's really important that we spot these aha moments. So I probably had 2 real pivotal ones. The the first one was mine when we I got engaged, and we were given wedding engagement photos as part of that, and we had them done. And I looked at these wedding photos, and they shocked me. They sort of scared me. It didn't look like me. I looked sort of this shell of a person, so I just sort of let myself, and that drove me for like a 9-month transformation, and that was incredible. But then sort of I didn't really fully embrace that journey. So then years later, I'm sat on a plane, and my Instagram living best life. There's a literally before I took the photo, there was me with champagne, drinking it on Virgin Upper Class, flying to the West Coast, and I realized I couldn't go on anymore, and I was struggling so much with anxiety that I didn't want to leave the house. But on the outside, I was incredibly successful. I was well paid. I had like the perfect family. I had like these experiences and things. And it's so important that when you're starting to feel discomfort, when you're starting to see these things creep up on you, that you actually recognize them. And we're always taught this sort of stiff upper lip of like, bury it, don't talk about it, get on with it. The life is about working as hard as you can, making the most amount of money you can, and then enjoy your life at 65, 70, or whenever you're able to retire. And I think it's so important to spot those moments. The ahas will get bigger as you start to struggle more, so that earlier you can catch those ahas, the swifter you can do it. And it's as people know, it's so much easier to get yourself back on track when you've only gone a little bit off track. If you think about when you fly an airplane, if you go off a little bit, you can correct. If you've been going off for a couple of hours, it's a lot more effort. So it's really important to start sort of checking yourself. And that's a really important thing that we talk to people about. It's like, what are the signs, what are the scores, how are you doing? To I think sort of it's that check yourself before you wreck yourself is a really important way of grabbing it as early as possible, realizing what you really care about. So I just wanted to go back. Hopefully Dina won't tell me off for breaking script and smack me around the head, because she's way stronger than me. But so with that, obviously that was a sort of touch on some of our stories, but we promise not to just share the stories. We'll break down some of the myths of high performance, productivity, well-being. The Pilates on a Tuesday is the key to well-being, or Zoom free Fridays that people can't actually commit to. But more importantly, giving you the sort of the tips, the trends, the actionable insights, the research that we're finding that really helps us create the lives and our clients' lives, transforming into that balanced life, because it is obtainable. Also, if you fancy checking out where you sit on that balanced life spectrum, like I said, it's always important to sort of check yourself. Check out our BalanceQ scorecard. You'll find the link in the description of this video or this podcast.
So with that, we hope you enjoyed episode 0. We promise to be as raw as possible. And until next time, we ask you to think about what it is that you feel would give you the balanced life that you're after. Take care.